You don't even like me, do you? His voice was calm, almost too calm, like the silence before a hurricane. And that's when I realized I might have just set fire to something I couldn't control. Started as a joke. Just a harmless little game to spice up the monotonous hum of office life. But games have rules. And I broke every single one the moment I looked into his eyes and saw something I never expected. Sincerity. 2 weeks ago, in the middle of a boring Thursday afternoon, I found myself leaning against the edge of my desk in the marketing department, twirling a pen like I owned the damn world. Across the room, Jason perfect, polished, always 2 buttons undone. Jason was typing like his life depended on it. You know the type, the guy who makes HR posters come alive. Broad shoulders, easy smile. That subtle cologne you catch when he walks by that makes you question your entire sexuality on a casual Tuesday. He caught me staring. Instead of looking away, I smirked. Bad move. Like what you see? He asked, leaning back in his chair, voice dripping with that cocky confidence only guys like him seem to have in their DNA. And that's when the idea hit me. Sure. I shot back. My tone half challenge, half tease. In fact, why don't you confess to me right now? Jason's brows arched like he'd just been offered front row seats to chaos. Confess. Yeah. I shrugged, pretending to check my phone. You know, tell me you like me. Just for laughs. I'll even say yes. I expected him to roll his eyes, maybe laugh. Maybe throw a get over yourself my way. But he didn't. He stood, walked over with that unhurried, predatory grace, and leaned down until his lips were at my ear. I like you, he whispered. The words burned like whiskey sliding down my throat, unexpected, sharp, and leaving me wanting more. Of course, I laughed it off. That's what I do when things get too really turn them into a joke. So, I said it. I said yes. Out loud. In front of half the office. And they all laughed. Jason didn't. His eyes didn't so much as flicker. He just smiled. That slow, knowing kind of smile that feels like a promise you never agreed to but secretly want. And that's when the game began. Or so I thought. Fast forward to now, and I'm standing in the dimly lit corner of a rooftop bar in downtown Manhattan. Cold wind biting at my neck while Jason stares at me like I'm the only damn thing that matters in the sprawling city. His hand brushes mine as he takes the glass from me, fingers lingering a little too long. You don't even like me, do you? He says again, voice quieter this time, like he's afraid of the answer. I open my mouth, but the words get stuck somewhere between my pride and my heart. Because he's right, I didn't. At least, I didn't think I did. But now, I can feel the weight of every single glance, every subtle touch, every stolen moment we've had since that stupid joke. And it scares the hell out of me. Jason's been relentless these past 2 weeks. Lunch breaks that feel like dates. Late-night texts that blur the line between work and something dangerously more. And that look, the one he gives me like I'm a puzzle he's determined to solve. Even if it breaks him in the process. The worst part. A piece of me wants him to. The first time he kissed me, it wasn't planned. At least not by me. We were stuck in the office late, chasing a deadline that made us both hate capitalism more than usual. The rest of the team had bailed hours ago. And it was just the hum of the air conditioner, the glow of our screens, and us. I was leaning over his desk, pointing at something on his laptop. When he looked up, really looked, his eyes dropped to my mouth for a fraction of a second, a detail so small it should have meant nothing. But then, he moved. Slow. Deliberate. Like he was giving me a chance to stop him. And I didn't. His lips were warm. Firm. Certain. And when he pulled back, his voice was just a whisper. Still think this is a joke? I laughed. Because what else do you do when the ground shifts under your feet and suddenly everything you thought you knew feels like a lie? But my hands were shaking. And when I got home that night, I couldn't stop touching my lips, like they held the answer to a question I didn't dare ask. Jason doesn't play games. That's what makes this terrifying. He wants me openly, unapologetically, and with a kind of intensity that could swallow me whole. And I don't know if I'm ready to be wanted like that. But as I stand here on this rooftop, city lights bleeding into the night sky, his question hangs between us like a noose. You don't even like me, do you? The truth. I like him more than I should. More than I ever planned to. And that might be the biggest joke of all. I should have walked away that night. I should have laughed, made some sarcastic comment, and left Jason standing there with his glass and his dangerous eyes. But I didn't. Because something in Mezamething stubborn, selfish, maybe even desperate wanted to know what it would feel like to let go for once. Jason, his name felt heavy on my tongue, weighted with every unspoken truth I'd been burying since that first kiss. He didn't move, didn't blink. He just waited, like the city noise, the cold air. The rest of the world didn't exist. Like I was it for him. And that realization sent a shiver down my spine. I didn't think it would matter. I whispered. It was supposed to be a joke. His jaw tightened, and for the first time, his composure cracked. A joke. His voice was low, dangerous in its calm. You think I'm a punchline? No, I said quickly, stepping closer without meaning to. I didn't think you'd take it seriously. Well, I did, he said, and the rawness in his tone gutted me. I've been serious from the start. You think I'd chase you, spend every damn day trying to break down your walls, just for fun. I wanted to say something, anything, but the words tangled in my throat. And that silence, that split-second pause was enough to break him. I saw it in his eyes, that flash of hurt, that instinct to run before he shattered in front of me. He turned, started walking toward the rooftop exit, and something inside me snapped. My hand shot out, gripping his arm. Don't, I said, voice trembling more than I wanted. Please, don't walk away. He froze. Slowly. He looked back at me, and the ache in his gaze nearly undid me. Then tell me why. He said softly. Tell me why I shouldn't. And God, I wish I had an easy answer. Something neat and tidy, like in the movies. But life isn't a script. And my heart was a mess of contradictions. Because I don't want to lose you, I whispered. For a moment, neither of us moved. The city roared below. But up here, everything felt impossibly still. Then, Jason stepped closer, closing the space between us in two slow, deliberate strides. His hand cupped my jaw, tilting my face up until I had no choice but to drown in his gray eyes. Then stop pretending, he said. Stop hiding behind jokes. Stop acting like this doesn't mean something when we both know it does. His thumb brushed my cheek. And just like that, the dam inside me broke. All the fear, the doubt, the self-protection, I let it all go. My hands fisted in his jacket as I crashed into him, kissing him like I'd been starving for it all along. He kissed me back with a hunger that stole the breath from my lungs. Deep and claiming and unbearably tender all at once. When we finally pulled apart, foreheads pressed together, I was shaking, and not from the cold. I'm scared, I admitted, voice raw. Me too, he said, a soft laugh breaking through his ragged breathing. But I'd rather be scared with you than safe without you. And maybe that was the truth I'd been running from. That some risks are worth taking. That some people are worth falling for. Even if it feels like free fall. 2 weeks later, I was standing in the same office where this whole damn thing started. Staring at Jason across the room as he wrapped up a meeting. He caught my eye. And just like that, the noise faded. It always does with him. When he finally walked over, slipping his hands into his pockets like he wasn't the most distracting thing in a 3-mile radius. I felt that now familiar flutter in my chest. Dinner tonight? He asked casually, like it wasn't a loaded question, like it didn't mean everything. Thought you'd never ask, I said, grinning in spite of myself. He smirked, leaning down just enough for only me to hear. You know, for someone who thought this was a joke, you're pretty terrible at hiding how much you want me. Shut up, I muttered, cheeks heating. Make me, he teased. And damn it, I think I will. That night, we didn't go to some fancy rooftop bar. We ended up at his apartment, sitting on the floor with takeout boxes between us and a crappy movie playing in the background. And for the first time in a long time, I felt, still, like maybe this was where I was supposed to be all along. At some point, I fell asleep with my head on his shoulder. When I woke up, his arm was around me, and he was looking at me like I was the answer to a question he'd been asking his whole life. What? I mumbled, half asleep. Nothing, he said softly, kissing my hair. Just glad you said yes. I smiled against his chest, heart swelling in a way that scared me and soothed me all at once. Because the truth is, saying yes was the easiest decision I've ever made, joke or not. Love isn't a punchline. It's a gamble. A messy, terrifying, beautiful gamble. And for once in my life, I'm all in. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.